the speaker. Oh, and by saying someone's name, not only does the speaker employ empathy by thinking about that person enough to remember their name and think about them and hopefully their feelings, but also the person being spoken to will have more empathy for the speaker as well, because empathy tends to be reciprocal. So I hope you agree that using names is a useful tool for building empathy, especially in a preschool classroom. And now I want to talk about how music is a useful tool for building empathy in a preschool classroom or anywhere. Music is magic. It's been called the universal language. It taps into the emotions and it lights up every part of the brain, including those responsible for memory and empathy. I just want you to listen to something. Did you feel yourself sort of pay more attention once I started playing the guitar? It wasn't that magical. It was just a C chord. But music does that. It engages the listener and it ignites emotion. I'm sure you've all had an experience of hearing a song with or without words that brought you to tears. And many of us have a hard time remembering people's names. I myself have a really hard time remembering people's names. So I find name songs to be really useful. And I hope you're ready to hear some, because I want to sing with you and hopefully you'll sing along. So the first song is a song that you can share with the youngest babies. It's not even a song, it's a chant. So if you're one of those people who say you can't sing, and by the way, you can do this too. My parents used to chant this to me, and I used to chant this to my children. And it goes like this. Ah, baby, ah, baby. Ah, baby. But of course, it holds a lot more meaning since names are powerful if you personalize it with your child's name. And I have a monkey, but I used to do it with my child, Clint, who you just saw walk by. So I'll sing, ah, Clint, or whatever your child's name is. So you can try that at home. If you have a baby, it's very soothing. It's soothing for the baby and for ourselves. And when you hold that child close and you create that empathetic connection, you're cueing into their feelings. You're helping them feel safe. You're setting them up for better empathetic relationships for the rest of their lives. And music can help with that, and names can help with that, name songs. So I have a couple other examples of name songs. I often drum the names of my students with my preschoolers. Again, this is one that doesn't even need a melody. There are two parts to a song. There's the melody and the rhythm. When we're drumming names, we're just focusing on the rhythm. And here's how I would do it. I would work in a small group, not the entire class, but I might drum the name 3 times. And then if we all had drums, we would all drum the name 3 times. Or if we don't all have drums, we could drum them on our laps. So I'm going to invite you to do that with me now. I'm going to drum the names of some of the people in the room here. So you might hear your name. And I'll drum it 3 times, and then you tap it 3 times. So here we go. Debbie, Debbie, Debbie. You try it. Debbie, Debbie, Debbie. I'm going to try another one. Liz, Liz, Liz. You try it. Liz, Liz, Liz. I'll do one more. Mimi, Mimi, Mimi. You try it. Mimi, Mimi, Mimi. And then I play a fun game. I say, and this helps us learn each other's names. I'm going to play the rhythm of a name. And I want you to raise your hand if you think you know whose name it is. And so I'll play a name. Here I go. Do you think you know who it is? It's Liz. That's right. I'm going to play another one. Ready? Listen close. Now, some students might say it's Debbie and some say it's Mimi because they have the same rhythm in their name. And here in the United States, that iambic two-syllable rhythm is the most common for names. So when you play bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, you're going to have like half the class raising their hand that it's their name. And immediately, students feel connection with other students because I have the same rhythm as you in my name. So it provides connection. And learning the names can help with empathy. Let's see, can I share with you 1, 2, or 3 more songs? I'm going to try for 2 or 3. Let's see how we do. All right, so here's a song that it's a piggyback song. It's piggybacked on a familiar melody. The melody is Do You Know the Muffin Man? And I sing, Do You Know This Friend of Mine? Do you know this friend of mine, this friend of mine, this friend of mine? Do you know this friend of mine? My friend's name is Joni. And then we can all say, Hi, Joni. And seeing all of her friends waving to her, hearing all of her friends saying her name and saying hello to her will help her feel included in the group and create a more empathetic and safe feeling classroom. Do I have time for 1 or 2 more songs? I'm going to try for 2. Well, I'll definitely do this one. We'll go to this one. All right, so this is an original. I wrote this song, and it is how I start almost every one of my classes now, because it has to do with love. Now, I recognize that love and empathy are not the same thing, but they are related. And as I said to you, I teach very young children, and love is an easier word to get your head around and an easier concept to start with. We do talk about thinking of other people's feelings, and I do teach empathy explicitly. But I do start with love because I think it's easier for them to get their head around it. It's a word they've heard before and it's more familiar. And before I present the song, I do want to just mention that psychologist Paul Alkman and Daniel Goleman say there are 3 types of empathy. Paramita, could you make sure everybody else is muted, please? So they talk about compassionate empathy, emotional empathy, and cognitive empathy. So cognitive empathy is thinking about other people's feelings. Emotional empathy is feeling other people's feelings. People who say, I'm an empath, feel other people's feelings. And compassionate empathy involves a synthesis of thinking about and relating to feelings of other people and allowing it to move us to an appropriate action. So compassionate empathy involves action. And I want to share with you a song and a story with my preschoolers that involved compassionate empathy. So this song is Oh Friends, We Love You. And when I first present it, that's how I sing it. I'll sing, Oh friends, we love you. Oh friends, we love you. We love you, yes we do. Oh friends, we love you. And then when we all know the melody, I start personalizing the song with names, because names are so, oh goodness. Sorry about that. Because names are so powerful for building empathy. In fact, I want to tell this story of one time I was on the playground at a school where I teach, and there was a child, Mila, who came to me crying. And she told me that some of her friends did not want to play with her. And obviously they were not being very empathetic, right? But I didn't go over to the friends and lecture them. Instead, I got down on her level. I put a hand on her shoulder and I started singing, "Oh, Mila, we love you." And on the second or third verse, another friend from the playground came over and put a hand on her other shoulder and joined me. And by the end of the song, I was surrounding Mila with 3 other friends. So she was surrounded by these friends that loved her. And she wasn't crying anymore. And they went off to play. And the kids who didn't want to play with her, they all joined together. So at that time, those friends were moved to compassionate empathy. And this song allowed them to do that. And it was really a beautiful thing to witness with young 3 to 6 year olds. So we talked about the importance of names. We talked about music as a useful tool for building empathy. I hope you learned something. If you had any aha moments, or if you learned a song that you might use, please let me know in the chat. I apologize for the noise in the background. I think somebody's not muted. I would welcome your comments. I know that 15 minutes is not a lot of time. So if you think of any questions you have for me, or if you'd like to learn any of the songs or any others, I have a whole YouTube channel. You can go to singintoreading.com, or you can email me at singintoreading.com, or you could even call me. And I just want to thank the organizers again for this opportunity.
Lovely way to see your practice, particularly with the younger little young people of our world. And I think your just the way that you sing and the talent that you have is a very gentle and calm delivery, which would make any child feel very safe in what can be quite a daunting environment, a classroom. And I think it's wonderful that we can include children by the medium of music, and then children themselves actually see that power and start to use it to heal situations. So it was a beautiful presentation,